Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Postgame Show podcast presented by PointsBet. Use that promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Cubs win 3-2. I'm your host, Steve. Down there, Cody, Ryan, and our special guest all the way from the UK.
We made it.
Rachel from UK Cubs. Huh? How about that? Huh? Who else is there? Hogue, you had an international guest yet? Huh? Hogue, you had an international guest yet on your podcast? Uh-huh.
Oh, look at us. Look at us. You know the Paul Rudd meme?
First
Paul
international
Rudd.
guest on the podcast. On any podcast here, huh?
Podcast.
Paul Rudd, Hot Ones. Look at us. Look at us.
we do.
Who would have thought? Not
Who
me.
would have thought?
There's a lot of
Nick's so
podcasts that
excited,
nobody's
he can't spell my
internationally
name.
successful like we are.
Nick's excited. We got Rachel here.
Name's gone out the window.
That's right. I feel like on our first podcast, when we're first launching the network, Rachel was there from the beginning.
Yeah, easily. Day one.
Day one.
I think
Day
she's like OG front of the program right now,
Yeah.
Rachel. It's
And we get a Cubs win, not just a win, the 50 burger, 50 wins on the
The
season.
March of 63.
13 to go,
It's
Cody.
alive.
13 to
It's
go.
alive.
And Rachel's here to go to her first Cubs game at Wrigley, right?
Tomorrow, yeah. Left field bleachers.
All right, before we talk,
She's like, yes.
Right.
Cody loves hearing that.
before we get to the Cubs beating the Orioles on the rain makeup game, let's get to know Rachel a little bit in person as opposed to like on the chat. And we hope more people on the chat will stop in every once in a while. First of all, why the Cubs? You live near London, right? So,
I
like,
do.
how do you end up being a Cubs fan?
So I came over to the US a few years ago and I made some friends. And it was COVID year, a couple years ago now, obviously. And I was doing all those video calls that we were all doing with our friends. And I was sitting there bored out my head and my friend was watching the Cubs game and she said, put it on. I put it on and I've basically not missed a game since.
Oh, wow. 2 years
Wow.
ago.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you
even
can't
during
say
the
she
downslide.
bandwagoned after 16.
Exactly.
No,
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
No,
I was
it's
like,
not.
she probably joined around 15 or 16.
That's a real fan.
No, it's been pain. All the way through.
Yeah, there
That's a
hasn't really
true
been anything
Cubs
good
fan.
for her. Yeah.
That's the authentic version of it right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
gonna
there
be
you
real.
go.
So-
She's cubbing however she wanted to cub.
That's
like,
right. That's how you want to Cub. That's how most of us have Cubbed most of
You
our
want to be
lives.
miserable like the rest of us? Hey, go ahead.
So you're going to see Wrigley for the first time as a fan.
Yes, tomorrow.
What
It
do
still
you
doesn't feel
expect it to be like?
Overwhelming. Honestly, it's such a thing in my mind now. I think it's going to be really, really strange actually being there.
Yeah.
You might almost
Yeah.
feel like a film set, almost not real.
It filled the
Yeah.
dreams. It's kind of what it felt
Yeah.
like.
Feel the dreams.
honestly. Kinda
I do feel like if you have time while you're here, you probably should try and do one of the tours before a game. Mm-hmm. Like if they open up the stadium early, sometimes they have like a couple hour slots with
Yeah.
the tour. That'd probably be something you want to do.
Yeah.
Anything else planned? You're going to every game this
I'm going
weekend?
to every game. So
then you are
Friday,
trying to-
Saturday, Sunday, and I'm thinking about trying to do one of the Cards ones
Cardinals
early
games,
next
yeah.
week.
You
But
could
that's kind of
You could probably do one of the afternoon doubleheader on,
Yeah,
on
exactly.
Tuesday.
That's
You
what
could
I'm thinking,
probably
to
get
be
one
honest,
of those.
Or the doubleheader on Monday after they rain out on set. Well, listen, I'm really crossing my fingers for good weather because it'd be really cool to see a Cubs win, some sunshine, and have the air and water show flying overhead
Yeah.
at Wrigley, which is
Yeah.
always cool.
kind of ticking all the boxes while I'm here, actually.
Yeah.
Get it all
That's
done
right.
at once.
I know Corey will tell you to make sure to get one of the the dogs he always posts on his Twitter, like
Green ones.
he'll tell you to get one of those. Yeah. And then what is it he likes? He has to make sure the onions are what? The grilled
Grilled
or
or
Crispy
grilled,
grilled. I
whatever
like
it
them
is.
crispy
He-
grilled. I
He'll
don't like
sometimes
them
complain
soggy.
about them when they're not however he likes them. So make sure you reach out
Get
to
the
him
right
and like
one,
get
You know, you-
get the ingredients right.
As the guy who's here for vibes, she's going to her first game Friday, 1:20 in
Yeah.
August. I mean, that's heaven, man.
Yeah, you can't
I,
Is this heaven? No, it's Wrigley Field.
yeah,
No,
he's
it's the
heaven.
bid
No,
for
it's
51.
Wrigley Field. No. That
51 is
that
good
is
number.
awesome. And she's sitting in left field. Oh, do I have to come in here? Can I go with? Oh man, I'm jealous.
It's gonna be really
So
cool.
yeah.
And I would assume you've been to like just football fields, I guess. Like football stadiums in the UK. Like, what's
AKA soccer.
Yeah, I was just like,
AKA
which one's it?
soccer,
That's what I'm talking about.
AKA soccer. But like, just how does that? I mean, I've never been to one, but how does that compare to what kind of like you're expecting to see at Wrigley tomorrow? Like,
So what's the capacity at Wrigley?
this is 40-something thousand.
40-some thousand.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that would, for a
48.
football stadium back home, it would be really small.
Sure.
The stuff
Okay.
I've been to has been huge. Like 80,000 is the Tottenham Stadium now.
So you
Oh,
might
wow.
go in there and think it's a small place.
But I kind of like that.
A little more
Kind of
intimate.
A little more intimate,
Yeah.
a little more close. That kind
Well,
of
most-
romantic idea of baseball,
Most,
I guess.
even like newer ballparks are at most 50, I would say.
Yeah, they've all gotten smaller.
Yeah, like
What's-
they're not.
What's the Jason Sudeikis show? I watch it. Ted Lasso. Have you watched Ted
Yeah, I love
Lasso?
Ted
That's a
Lasso, yeah.
smaller stadium, right?
Yeah, that is actually a really small one. But
It's
no
the Wrigley
one really,
of.
hence the show. No one really goes to this.
Right. yeah, exactly.
Google quickly shows 41,649 is the capacity for.
Aaron says 45 for Lady Gaga. He's also mad that he hasn't been invited to the show and he lives in Bucktown. Aaron, you're
Nothing to do
welcome.
with me.
Yeah,
Aaron.
you're
Aaron,
welcome.
come on
man.
down.
Stop by.
Yeah.
Reach out.
Just not today because Rachel's taking the seat.
He also says he was at the Lady Gaga concert. Big of you to admit on the internet for all of us here to see.
I respect that, Nero.
Yeah, respect
Listen
that.
to him.
I-
Very big of you. No, I don't have nothing against Lady Gaga, but Niren.
Other people might have something against
based
Lady
off
Gaga.
based off Niren's picture. He just doesn't look like a Lady Gaga guy, so I'm a little surprised.
I don't know. Like, I don't have anything against Lady Gaga. I used to
I don't
see
either.
her when I lived in Ukrainian Village right down the street, like a mile from here. I saw her twice outside Roots Pizza, just on Winchester, just sitting at a table by herself. I was like, is that Lady Gaga? And I'd have to go around the block. Lady Gaga just sitting
you're
at a
a
table
fan.
by herself. True story. By the way, thank you to Obvious Shirts. Unbelievable. Joe made the Steve shirt.
Yeah.
Period. This is for you.
I am now asking. I am once
Thank you.
again
Thank
now
you.
asking for one that says I'm ready to be hurt again, but in like
Yeah.
4 different colors. One in like Bulls colors, and then a Bears related one, and then obviously a Cubs one.
Actually, Cody's should be trade value arrow down. That would be funny.
That would be good too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got my Steve shirt. It was delivered today. Hand delivered
me.
by Cody, fresh back from vacation. I was like, all right, well,
Yeah.
they got me something while I was gone.
went
We got
and picked
another
it-
obvious
I-
shirt
I
right
went
here.
and
Rachel's
picked it
got
up.
Yeah.
Obvious shirts.
the greatest game ever.
But
played
tomorrow,
was on
what are you gonna
Wednesday in
wear?
Cleveland.
My CHGO shirt.
Ah,
CHGO Cubs shirt. Oh, so if you see,
That's-
Brand loyalty.
That's the
Yeah, there
stuff
you go.
right there. You love to see that.
we do love to see that.
Nick G
So.
says Rhino was at the Lady Gaga. I did see an Instagram post of that he was there too.
Rhino. Yeah, I can
Matt
see
loves
it.
the Steve shirt. So, yeah, you're excited. You're going to go to Wrigley. You have decided what you're going to get there. You are going to try the Chicago dog. You're going to try
Yes.
deep dish while you're here.
Yeah, well,
That's something.
I've heard mixed reviews.
From
I
like,
love it, but I understand why people don't love it.
Yeah.
Like, it is a lot.
I have to try
That's
it.
what I'm saying. I get why people don't. Yeah, I
But
get why people don't
also
love it. but it's
underrated
something
is
you have
thin
to do.
crust. Thin crust Chicago pizza is good
Yeah,
too.
tavern style. Yeah,
It is,
I like
but
it.
that's easy. You could find a thin crust place and
Right.
try a slice. Now, if
True.
you decide you're going to go in on 2 slices of deep dish, that's an investment in some
Yeah.
time.
That is.
because that's like the time to eat
And
it.
And I
definitely
don't
need
want,
to, like,
I
a
don't
nice
want
nap
somebody
after.
to tell you Pequods because they burn the crust to caramelize thing. I'm not in on Pequods.
All right.
No?
Yeah.
Where have I got to go?
Any of
Lou's?
the other places.
Lose?
and
I would say Lou Malnati's. Lou
I feel like
Malnati's,
that's very solid. Like
and I'll say
Gino's, Lou Malnati's.
since
Yeah.
your first time in Chicago, you go to a bar tomorrow or sometime this weekend, you have to ask for a shot of Malort.
Yeah.
You
I've
have
had a
to-
lot
you
of
have
people
to
say
do
they
it.
want to
Really?
be there when that
And
happens.
Someone's got you got to make sure your friends or whoever.
she
gets
either
you
needs to
one.
go to Nice Lounge for that shot of Malort.
Yeah,
Or, and I'm sure they do this at all of them, but like she needs to go to Murphy's or Sluggers or both.
or all three. Yeah,
There you go.
or
See all
just
three
Those are
happen.
the
make
three.
your own bar crawl.
I mean, I don't go to Nice Lounge like ever, but
I heard good things.
yeah, it's like a baseball bar. It's very divey. You probably meet a lot of Cubs Twitter people that
Yeah.
you know
Yeah,
that
I
are
see it-
all
I
over
see
the
it a lot on
internet.
Twitter,
Yeah,
yeah.
So if you want to meet any of those people, there's a reason I don't go there. I don't want to meet them all. Um,
But you're saying
Yeah.
Chicago dog is what we should tell her to get? I feel like the chocolate malt with the wooden spoon is old school.
you just gotta go to Wiener Circle too.
What won
Oh.
the poll? That poll. What won that?
I forgot
Which
who won
poll?
that poll.
A while
Oh,
ago.
geez, know
You
what
guys
that
did a-
poll
you
is
did
that
a
we're
poll.
talking
Wasn't
about.
Wiener
was the
Circle.
poll?
It was the Wiener Circle poll.
That was Vienna beef hot dog.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So it was like sort of wiener circle.
Yeah.
And Do Right Donuts right across the street from Wrigley.
Now that you should do.
Do right donuts.
Yeah, the Valrhona, whatever that is.
Yeah, well, you know,
That's what
we're
I
gonna
ordered.
we're just gonna tell the chat just to keep throwing suggestions in there, and then we'll just have Rachel go rewatch the show later and then look at the live chat
I'll use
and
that
find
as
them. Yeah,
my
there you
list.
go.
Yeah.
I saw it. Nobody brings the negativity like Michael.
Yeah.
Michael Cooley.
Well, he had an
$300
earlier
a
comment
year.
that's.
Yeah, he said tell her Ricketts put in new bathrooms.
He had another one that said, if you want to see a rich man who doesn't care about anyone, just look up in the skybox.
Oh
Thank you,
my
Michael.
God.
All right.
For change.
So Cubs win. So they're coming off a hot win. You get to see them play the Brewers. The game doesn't mean a whole lot, but for you, it will be meaningful for sure, right? You
Yeah,
think you're gonna?
nice
Are you
little
gonna
win.
cry?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You're gonna weep?
Yeah.
Just
I
like
cry
right
all
when
the
you-
time.
right
when you-
I
You're
cry
a
about
crier?
sports all the time.
There you
Really?
Like, too much. Too much.
Relatable.
I would definitely cry.
I will say I hope the Cubs do win one of these games, so you get to do the whole Go Cubs Go
Yeah.
thing at the end. Like that's a good experience.
That would be
Yeah.
nice.
That would be
Yeah.
the Go Cubs go on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah,
would
the
be
only
nice.
thing is it's an experience that you have no control over.
Yeah.
Like if you go and they were to get swept over the weekend, like that's not your fault. You
Yeah,
just-
in like a 4-hour rain delay.
Hey,
You just-
Brewers are kind of free falling over the last couple weeks. Maybe it's a good time for them to come to
I'm
Wrigley.
expecting a Cubs sweep, completely reasonable expectations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah,
just-
don't go in with high expectations because then you'll definitely be hurt. But if you just
Right.
go in and,
Yeah.
and hope for a really fun experience,
Maybe don't go.
You'll be happy.
Maybe don't go in expecting a sweep, but
Yeah.
I think you can say, hey, two out of three, maybe might happen. At least
overly
one. I think you can. I think you can be
At least
optimistic
one.
for
I'll
one.
take one, yeah.
I just don't want Rachel to go to the left field bleachers and the cup snake cracks over the top of her head and like leftover beer spills out and then some guy gets in a fight. Like, I don't want you to leave just going, Americans are disgusting. This is what we want you to have a good
Oh.
experience there.
yeah.
I'm sure that won't happen.
I'm sure it
I-
won't,
I hope it won't.
but it
We'll
could.
see.
It could.
Do you have a seat recommendation for in the bleachers?
I would go right for Bleacher Jeff's seat because I disagree with that whole thing. Like, Bleacher Jeff does not get to have that seat. If you show up first thing and you show up and Bleacher Jeff shows up and is like, that's my seat, you say, I came from the UK. Move along.
There you go.
Yeah, who?
Make friends with Mai Tai guy. That's my guy.
Mai Tai guy.
He's a good guy. And he always wears the same jersey,
Nice little jersey,
and
yeah.
it says Mai Tai guy on the back. He steals kids' balls, but other than that, he's a good dude. And he sits like in the same little section that Bleacher Jeff, not
Okay.
the same section, but like maybe one over. Usually that's where I usually see him. Like always in like the first one or two rows of the bleachers.
Hey,
All right. Okay.
Ron Luce in the chat. He said Malort
guy
is a
Ron?
trap. Malort is a trap, but
I'm scared to be honest.
I think you
but-
have. I think everyone has to do it once.
Yeah.
I think everyone has to
I'm
do
from
it.
Look at Fam Guy 218. Yes, he's saying, "Oh, is this Rachel from UK Cubs fans?"
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
that's what we're
Yes.
saying.
Very
Rachel
nice.
came all the way from the UK
Just to be on our
Just to
show.
be
just to be on our show, and she
Like,
also
I
might
mean-
go to a Cubs game
Yeah.
this
Maybe.
weekend.
This
And
is
she
the
might be in
priority.
Chicago for like the
Yeah.
next week. Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right, so Cubs win
There
3-2.
you
We
go.
sat there. We all watched the game. You guys
Something
watched
like
more
that.
of it than I did. I mean, what do you think of the idea that they're at 50 wins? Are we confident now they're getting to 63?
Yeah.
Is it pretty confident they're not going to lose 100 at this point?
I never thought they were going to lose 100, but
There were times,
I will say there were
Ryan.
times where you're like,
looking great.
yeah, right. So, I think firmly I would say that they're gonna
Yeah.
they'll hit 63. They'll complete the march to 63, and then kind of see if they could get to like 66
Someone
or
sent.
something.
It's one of the minor league accounts out there. His name's Brad. I don't know his handle. I'm sorry, but he tweeted something last night that almost convinced me that maybe my future bet on over 70 and 75 and a half wins is possible. So, and I think all the Cubs have to do is go like 500 the rest of the way, and they have a winning record since the All-Star break. So if they go 500 the rest of the way, they just might be able to get really close to that 75 or 76 win total I need.
Rachel, did you bring a water bottle? That's when we spray
I'm one of
Cody in the
those
face.
people.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people.
You're him.
I-
Oh,
both
no.
sorry.
Well, listen,
Sorry.
listen. I just want to win my bet at this point. Like the season's lost. I don't believe in playoffs, but like he tweeted it and said it, and I'm like, ooh, this might happen. It could happen. You
There's
know?
like a chance.
Hey, someone also, we talked about the other day. Someone bet the Cubs would win the World Series. I didn't do that. Wasn't me.
It wasn't you. It was Rachel.
It was Rachel.
It was her first points bet. Matthew Gregory saying Rachel came all the way from the UK to watch a team 17 games under 500. So incredibly different here. We don't deserve this. Cody.
It is incredibly different. She said earlier when we were sitting over talking that it's majority. You said a lot majority of baseball fans are Cubs fans over there.
Yeah, massively. When we have our MLB UK meetups, there's always more Cubs than anyone else.
Yeah, how does that happen? Is it just because Cubs I know are around here and are a big brand in general, but just how does that kind of work out in the UK? Because I know we talked about it with the NFL, and the NFL has a lot of different pockets.
Part of it is I think Chicago is the Cubs are the UK friendliest team in terms of game times, being able to actually watch the games.
120.
Okay.
I think that's part of it. But also just that whole kind of lovable losers thing is very British.
Yeah.
I think that really pulls people in. And then me and Mike also just people join. And who should we support? And we're like, Cubs. And we're we're going to get you. And we get
just
them.
keep bringing them in. There you go. Well,
I think it's going to be awesome. I think you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
One other thing I was thinking that you should definitely do if you haven't planned it in Chicago, anybody that comes to visit, the best way to see our city, it will be tough because of the Air and Water Show. If they have the architectural boat tours up the river, it's the best way to see the city.
That's great.
Well,
I've done
And
that
take the
too.
one that
That's
goes
good.
out onto the lake a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here till Thursday.
Yeah.
So
During the
So
week.
that's when you do it.
Yeah.
When the Air and Water Show's
Yeah.
over, nobody will be there. Kids will be back in school.
Yeah.
You get one of the Wendella boats and you go out there for an hour and a half.
Do it on Monday or one of the after the weekend because there won't be as many people.
Yeah.
Because people will be working except for you because you're on vacation.
me.
Right.
So, yeah, those
That's
are
my
fun.
advice.
I've
That's
heard
a
that it's
must do
good.
in Chicago.
All right.
Yeah.
I like being on the water, so that'll be nice.
There you go.
Adrian Sampson, was that enough for you to push you to say, oh yeah, this is another piece for next year?
Well, I kind of been saying it. I just think he's a really nice depth guy. Perhaps maybe multi-inning reliever if the Cubs are really good next year, or if they just have some injuries that force them to keep to need him. But those first couple innings today he looked really good. 5 strikeouts through 3 innings. I don't know. I just think he's a guy that they should definitely keep around. I think if they let him go, I think that's a mistake. But if they keep him in the organization, I think it's only a benefit. So
Matthew says Adrian Sampson, dog.
he's got that dog in him.
Yeah.
Dog in him.
No, so this is from Megan Montemurro at the Trib earlier. This is after the 3rd inning. You said he had 5 strikeouts,
5
something like that.
Yep.
He looked great, but she said Adrian Sampson looks good through 3 innings with Wade Miley return from the IL seemingly imminent. Ross didn't sound enthused about Cubs possibly using 6-man rotation down the stretch, noting strain had put on the pen, but did say, I think there will be some modifications to the rotation. Then she followed up, think you could see Cubs use someone like Sampson in swing role for spot starts if the Cubs want to build an extra rest and or skip start for Thompson Steele to manage innings. I've kind of felt the same way where it's Sampson has looked good, or he's looked like he's done his job since kind of getting this long run through the rotation.
Agreed.
But if they're still planning on keeping Steele and Keegan going, Stroman's still pitching well, Smiley needs to start, and then if Wade Miley comes back, and unless they go to a 6-man rotation, it's kind of I think Sampson was going to be the odd man. He was the odd man out a few months ago, right?
But why not go to a 6-man rotation? What is Wade Miley going to show you that you need to see this season?
I think the fact of having a 6-man rotation with only 13 pitchers does end up putting strain on the rotation, because then you use 3 guys like the Cubs, with the 3 or 4 guys that the Cubs did today. Then you only got 3 or 4 guys available tomorrow, the next day. I think I agree. If they were still allowed to even have the 14th guy, this could be a time to have that 6-man rotation. Having just one less bullpen arm already, and then having to shrink that by another one to get a 6-man in the rotation, unless you can really rely on these guys to get through 6 innings, 7 innings every game, which hasn't been the season. I think I kind of agree with that premise that it will not obviously benefit the bullpen as far as kind of keeping them fresh and not overworking them to end the year. But I guess kind of got to see where Miley's at right now still too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't need to see more from Adrian Sampson. I don't need to see more from Wade Miley. I think that they're like I've seen enough from Sampson to think that he do exactly what I already said, and I think that if they were to bring Wade Miley back next year, you get him cheaper because he barely pitched this year, and he'd just be they have so many starting pitchers that they need to look at. Like, I don't even know how they would use them. Like, maybe if they don't bring back Drew Smiley, maybe he would be someone like that you just insert in there. But I'm sure Miley wants to start, and I'm sure he wants to make 30 starts. So it's just tough because, he's only made 4 starts. Can't really bank anything on, but you can get him for cheap. So why not? Be probably a really good veteran to have around for a lot of the young arms coming up. Yeah. So, yeah, to me, again, I'm kind of with Luke when it comes to Miley. Like, there's nothing I need to see. I just want to know if he's healthy or not. I
think they'll calm down on like Keegan Thompson and stuff as well because he's throwing so much more than he did last year. Yeah. And then we're going to want to try out some of these young arms. The AAA is packed right now.
Yeah. Especially with relievers. Like, there's a lot of relievers kind of just knocking on the window. I know. What was it? The Estrada, Leaper, and Sanders a couple weeks ago is what I was hearing is like guys that are right there that when there's kind of the opportunity. Yeah. And we already saw with Eric Ullman. I know Eric Ullman had a little bit of a rough patch there in the 8th today. But he was a guy that had never had success in AAA and was just kind of waiting for that spot to open up in the bullpen. Comes up, and he's been here for a little over a month now. I think that like those 3 guys, plus there's other ones that are right there waiting for the next opportunity to open up, just to come. Even when when they open 2 roster spots in September, like that might be a time for some of those guys to come up too. So it'll be interesting.
I just don't need Rachel to go out and buy a Miley jersey tomorrow. No, it's not necessary. If you were going to wear a jersey and not a CHGO shirt,
yes,
what jersey would you wear to your very first Cubs game at Wrigley Field?
I brought 2 with me that I already own.
Okay. So for one of the other games.
So there was Rizzo and Bryant.
Of course. There you go.
But I understand.
I want to get a Hap one.
Yeah.
I'm going to get Hap. Yeah.
All right.
I think Hap's a good one to get.
That's fair.
I'm
surprised you didn't want to get Nico.
Yeah, I was going to say Nico for longevity might be
that's
possibly. Move.
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough Nico unis out of Wrigley this year.
No. You know what? I don't remember if I've seen a Morel one, but I feel like
I've seen some Morel. I've actually seen more Morel than I have Nico.
Really?
Yeah.
Locked in. I'm getting Nico.
Like I said, I feel like we need more Nico unis out in the stands.
Well, there you go. You might be the one.
It's gonna be me.
What about a Keegan?
Keegan would be good.
I've seen one. I forget her name. Tomorrow. She's on Twitter. She's like calls herself like the #1 Keegan Thompson fan. I've seen her in left field before, and I saw the day I saw her, she was wearing a Keegan Thompson jersey. The only one I've ever seen at Wrigley.
The chat's calling for the Franimal jerseys.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Franimal today.
Well, we'll get to who you got. It's a very highly debated, internationally debated who you got this time around. Cody, how did your bets do today?
Well, I'm sorry I forgot to tweet it out, guys, but the Cubs same game hit parlay is 3-1 in its last 4. It hit again today. I forgot to tweet it out, but also I used 2 Orioles players. Don't hate me for that. Anyway, I made that bet on PointsBet. PointsBet Sportsbook is counting down the days until football season with a new offer every day until the season kicks off. From now until September 8th, PointsBet Power Hour will unlock a new daily offer from 12 to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sign up for PointsBet now using code CHGO to also get risk-free bets up to $2,000. Don't miss out on your chance to get daily access to free bets, boosted odds, and so much more now through September 8th. Literally the other day, they gave away a free $5 bet to bet on golf during the Power Hour. Just saying. I missed it. Sean didn't, though. Anyway, that's not it. If you make a 51, not 50, 51 or more first-time deposit, you receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. Download the PointsBet app today and use code CHGO to take advantage of this limited time offer. Don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services.
Our next partner has a product I use literally every day. Started taking AG1 because I didn't have time, wanted better gut health, more energy, and optimized immune system. I've been on it for 2 weeks, and I love it. It doesn't taste super healthy. It's kind of mild, tropical. I look forward to taking it in the mornings. I forgot to take it with me on vacation. I came back,
Ooh.
took it this morning, boom, big bounce back, big bounce back. All the banana cream pies I had on vacation, all the frozen custard, all of it just washed right out of my system. I felt like a new man. Here's what it is. 1 scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens, all to start your day right. A special blend of ingredients supporting your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, your recovery, focus, aging, all those things. I get that noticeable boost of energy first thing in the morning, so that's when I take it. Giddy up, there I go. Lifestyle friendly too, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, all good with AG1. In the UK, is everybody all those things too? Is everybody crazy about all that stuff?
Everyone's crazy about all that stuff. I mean, I'm in London though. So
Yeah,
particularly-
okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, they're much more strict about like what goes in their medicines and
That's
everything
true.
too. We just throw anything in our food. It's lifestyle, but not AG1.
No,
AG1 would
AG1
pass it in the UK.
There you go.
So if you're investing in this all-in-one nutritional insurance for less than $3 a day, recommended by professional athletes, has more than 7,000 five-star reviews right now. Time to reclaim your health. Arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs, Rachel, all the way back to the UK.
I'm going to bring it back to London myself.
Yeah.
First purchase, all you have to
Ooh.
do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Cubs. Again, athleticgreens.com/CHGO Cubs to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
I gotta give a shout out to this one that Matthew has up. The Stuckey and Cody friendship gives me
What?
extreme 2016 Rizzo and Rossi vibes.
Are you saying Luke's on his way out?
I just hope somebody's going to carry me off on their shoulders someday.
Well, I do love that comment. I also like Joel's where he says "Rip Luke's plumbing" after the start of the Athletic Greens ad. I can't help myself but laugh at that.
No, I was all good. I ate all those things, and it was like I never had them in my body. Athletic Greens just takes over. It just eliminates all that stuff, and I'm good to go. Rachel walked in and was like, "You're 50." I was like, "That's America
First
right
thing I
there. We
said.
can eat whatever we
AG1.
want.
Yep.
Take a little AG1. 15 years off
Get
your
yourself
life."
some Owen, and man, you're a new person.
That's
Ooh,
right.
McBaconator says getting my AG1 in the mail tomorrow. There you go.
Bingo.
Go.
Big
Right.
time. Everyone else
Love
hop
to
on
see
board.
that.
Yep.
Fam Guy 218 says, have to ask Rachel, what's the Premier League equivalent to the Cubs?
Good question.
The team that
Is that in
Ted
recent or
Lasso?
just historically?
Historically, yeah.
team that historically just stinks,
God,
but like a lot of
historically,
people like
Tottenham.
them. Tottenham.
Tottenham.
That's your team,
Haven't
right?
won stuff in ages.
That's your
Yeah,
team,
that's my
right?
team.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Now,
Yeah,
it-
weirdly,
now it
actually,
really
yeah,
does
it
make
does make
sense.
sense.
Is the
that
Ted
you're
Lasso team real? Like,
No.
does that club exist?
No, sorry,
I was just
question
asking
threw me,
you. I mean,
no.
I didn't know.
No.
I don't know.
I think
I-
they're based on a real team, but
Yeah. Before we get back to the game,
Yeah.
I want to ask the news that the Cubs Cardinals are going to London. That was like 3 weeks ago.
Right.
ago.
yeah.
When you heard that, what was your reaction?
There's a lot of excitement. A lot of excitement. It's nice for me because I don't have to pay to come to Chicago again next year.
There you go.
Expensive.
Oh yeah, it is.
But no, I think it's gonna be incredible. Really, really like the whole community, that whole MLB UK community are really, really pumped. So say even people who aren't Cubs Cards fans cannot wait. It's gonna be such a fun weekend. You guys got to come.
I'm
get the
telling
hookup.
you, I'm pushing it. Kevin's over there on the couch. He needs to let Jake know that I'm all about
Kevin, are
going
we
to
going
London.
to London? I saw DNVR went to
Serbia.
Istanbul,
Serbia.
Serbia.
Yeah, no
There you
problem.
go.
There,
I've never
he
seen
said
Big
it.
Ben.
I've never seen.
Rachel, been to
Rachel,
London.
you got to take us in.
Got a sofa. Right. Make it work.
I've never been east of like Florida, like ever. Like,
Further east, yeah.
well, because I've never been on the East Coast,
Right.
and then Peck told me that Florida doesn't count as the East Coast, which I never thought it did either. But I'm like, some people do because it's
I-
technically
I
on
consider
the
it the
East
South.
Coast. But I'm like, so that's as far east as I've ever been. So I've never even been to London or Europe or anywhere else. Anywhere else in Europe, never been there. So that would be awesome to go to.
I mean, I expect it after our T-shirt sales take off.
So I know that the game was the Cubs Cardinals series was scheduled in 2020, but you weren't like a Cubs fan yet when that
got announced.
when that got announced, and then obviously when
Fringe.
it got
You were
canceled.
Fringe, or you hadn't even thought about it yet. Yeah.
Fringe, yeah.
It's like you were aware of who.
Vaguely aware.
You were aware of
but-
baseball. Is
Yeah.
what we're saying.
It's like, that's a sport that exists in a different country.
It exists.
Yeah, so that's cool. I mean, I remember seeing that. Yeah, it was like a couple weeks ago, and it's kind of funny. Like, I mean, the Cubs obviously are not in the best place right now, just as far as rebuilding, and they're still getting invited to the Field of Dreams, still getting invited to, London, and I'm sure wherever MLB goes next, we'll probably have the Cubs in the conversation. Like, it's just kind of one of those things where it's
They're
like
one of the teams in England. If you speak to people who don't know baseball, they'll say Yankees, Dodgers, and Cubs.
There you go.
They're the teams
Right.
people know.
there you go.
So it's one of those teams.
Boy, don't
really.
get the chat going. They're going to say we should be spending like the Dodgers and Yankees. That's what.
Yeah.
Michael
Don't get
It's
Michael
in every-
started.
it's-
Michael Kalana asks who's the cheapest owner in the UK.
We have him
All of
beat. Classic.
Ah, man, that always gives me a
Um,
bright spot in our chat.
Did you see that Joe Girardi's going to join Marquee for
I
a
did.
couple series?
I did.
I did.
You
Does
threw it
it-
in Slack like 2 days after I had already thrown it in Slack.
Yeah, well, I
After the
didn't. I
news
didn't look.
got-
I didn't look at Slack. I didn't look at the Cubs. It was off the map.
You were off the grid. I tagged
the
you in a few
grid.
tweets. You didn't even
No,
like it. I was
didn't even
like,
respond to it.
I was like, what are you doing in Wisconsin? That's so fun to look at. To not
Well,
look
they
at your Twitter
they
account.
mostly don't have internet access.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
There you go.
So
Fair.
Girardi's going to do the 2 series. My question about the whole thing is, does that make David Ross nervous?
I don't think
I mean,
so.
he was the guy that everybody always talked about as the next
Yeah.
Cubs manager.
But the
like
thing is,
Cap
like-
will preach Joe Girardi till you're blue in the face.
The thing
That's
is, they
true.
talked about him all this time, but never happened. Like, David Ross is like Jed's handpicked guy. Like,
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he's the guy there, right? He's the guy still in the Cubs uniform.
he's still in the Cubs. Yeah, still in the
Should Tony
uniform.
LaRusse be worried? He's getting closer.
Hey, that might be. That
He
might
would
be
take
some-
the
that
job
might be
for
a
sure,
conversation.
you know?
Well, because I know. Last year I covered a Phillies game when they were. I covered a Phillies series when they were here, and so I asked Joe Girardi, talk to him, just like what's it like being back in Chicago. Obviously, he played here a few years. I think it was like, 01 was his last season here.
I
Something like
think
that.
he was an all-star in 2002,
So 01 or 02.
2001.
Yeah.
I think, his last year was like 01 or 02, and he
Yeah.
was an all-star once. I
Yeah,
know
and
that.
so I asked him just about being back in Chicago. I think he grew up in Peoria, right? Like he was a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
Peoria, but
Peoria.
went to Northwestern.
Yeah. So and then he kind of talked about just always loves being back in Chicago. Like there you go. Like that
Joey's
kinda,
busy.
I'm
Joey's
in a glass case of
Beautiful.
emotion.
love that glass case of. But yeah, he talked about just how much he loves being back in Chicago and like always. Obviously playing here, but just even managing when he comes to town, like always loved being here. So I don't think David Ross is on any hot seat right now. But if Tony La Russa is, and there's an opening in the
Still
offseason.
Chicago.
Joe Girardi said today, I don't remember who tweeted it out or where I saw it, but that he is obviously interested in managing again. Like he doesn't want his managerial.
He was
career
on the
to
radio
end right
today
now.
and
Was it on
said,
the
yeah,
radio?
that he would like to manage
Yeah, that
again.
was,
but that if he doesn't, he also likes television.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he was on MLB Network, ESPN, something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
before
So-
the Phillies.
So if there's an opening in Chicago on the South Side, and they came calling for Joe Girardi, I'm sure he'd listen to it.
I just wanted to say it to see if we could get some people on the chat angry with Ross, because generally every post-game show, win or lose, has at least one person saying that he mismoved
Yeah.
in the game somewhere. Anyways, Ryan saw this Cubs Dominican League Summer League team, the double no-hitter.
A double no hitter in the
I
Dominican.
know, I've
Summer
never
League.
heard of that.
So if I
Both
just
teams threw a no-hitter.
kind of just saw it on Twitter. Apparently, and this is the box score if I could find it, if I could pull it up.
What if you saw that tomorrow, Rachel?
Yeah, make
double
history,
no-hitter.
that'd be
I
fun.
can't even
Double
I'm
no-hitter?
down for that.
So it looks like it was the DSL.
If she saw a no-hitter at Wrigley after all the games I've gone
Oh,
to, I've
yeah.
never seen
Oh,
anything
yeah.
like
Cody'd
that.
be real salty.
I'd be real salty. There would be like a lot of salt, like French McDonald's French fries salt. Like that's a lot of
I
salt.
would rub it in.
Actually, we'll go back to soccer terms or football terms. What's like that can't be a no-hitter equivalent in soccer, right? Like, what's something that's like rare like that, like rarity to have, and like.
There really is anything that's kind of even nearly like that. No, because everything's very like finite in football.
That's true.
If you're tied up, okay, you go to extra time. If you have extra time, you have penalties, and the penalties just keep going until someone
Okay,
gets
that's
them.
fair.
So
Rachel's,
as
she's
crazy
used
as
to
it gets.
0-0 all the time.
There's a lot of
Soccer,
that. There's a lot of
football,
that.
sorry, whatever.
Just a lot of slow.
yeah.
It makes sense why she's into baseball now.
There you go.
Big cricket fan. I
Yeah.
think that probably makes more sense.
Okay, so what's a no-hitter equivalent in cricket?
A no-hitter equivalent in cricket.
Like, what would be something that's like?
I mean, you could bowl a team out for 0.
I'm not sure
So
what
they
that
get
means.
like no runs.
Okay.
You
okay.
could get them all out. It never happens.
It never
Like,
happens.
It never.
So it's like
Never
a
happens.
So that's more like a perfect game, though.
Yeah,
kind of
I
thing.
guess. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
but that'd be probably your closest.
That'd be hard.
Bowl them out, is that what you say?
Bowl them. Yeah, you have bowlers.
So it's sort of like, oh, I never knew that.
It's ones that were like, it's the ones that throw it.
Yeah,
at
the guys that
at
run up and throw it.
Yeah,
They're the bowlers.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, but back to this. So it looks like in the Dominican Summer League, it was the DSL Pittsburgh Black team versus DSL Cubs Red team. Pittsburgh's line ended up 0 runs, 0 hits, 3 errors. The Cubs team ended 2 runs, 0 hits, 0 errors.
Jeez.
2 no-hitters, but the Cubs won 2-0. It looks like, I mean, there was 7 walks by Pittsburgh pitchers and 4 walks by Cubs pitchers, and it was just walk, error. Like ended up getting the 2 runs in. Like it was.
Been a fun
That's
one to watch.
there you go. That's. I've never seen that or anything close to that. Not even in like little league, like park district baseball that I played back in the day. I've never seen anything like that.
I've seen high school no-hitters, but I've never seen a major league no-hitter in person. Joey has.
You've seen a no hitter?
I didn't see Big Z throw it.
Is that Zambrano
Yeah, you
one
were
up
in
in
Milwaukee?
Milwaukee? Yeah, I forgot you told me about that. Yeah, but it's like because there was, what was the double no hitter? Then it's a big Major League Baseball game. I can't remember who even pitched it.
I have no idea. I don't
history,
know that
hold on.
answer. Double no-hitter?
It was like no hitters through 9 innings, and then the 10th inning someone got broken up. And I can't remember who was even in it.
Gotcha.
Anyway, go on. I'll research it.
Koopa Scoop says McKinstry needs to start defensive plays like today.
Right.
So then they kept going.
Someone has to break it up.
Yeah,
Tomorrow it's gonna
or
happen.
3 errors.
Closest
lead to 2
thing I
runs.
feel like we see, and I mean, I guess it's not even really close to that, but I remember like a few years ago, Rich Hill like took a no-hitter into extra innings or something like that against Pittsburgh when he was with the Dodgers or something.
Wait, say that again.
Rich Hill, didn't he take a no-hitter into extra innings
I think so.
a few years
actually.
ago?
It might have happened.
And then they ended up losing the game.
That happens.
Oh,
That
wow.
does happen every once in a while.
Well, and then you got a guy like Ted Lilly who like, I feel like 07 and 08, like every time he started, he took a no-hitter into like the 7th inning and then just couldn't finish it off. Like he was always like 7 no-hit innings. You're like, this is the one, and then it didn't never happen for him. Right? Yeah. Yeah, 8 innings no-hit right after Zambrano, but just like could never finish it off. And Ted Lilly was that guy. It's like when we talked about earlier, it's like, can you trust some of these guys to go 6-7 innings consistently? If they had Ted Lilly on this team, then you could think about going a 6-man rotation
Oh,
because
my God.
he did it.
Signed by Jim Hendry from his hospital bed.
you go.
Hey,
Oh,
if
yeah.
you enjoy CHGO, one way to help us continue to grow is download that PointsBet app. Use the code CHGO when you sign up. Not only do you get those 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, get the free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of Ryan's web content. Get you a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. Any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. In case you missed it, online sign-up available in Illinois. You can actually download the PointsBet app right now, register your account, start to finish, all from your phone. You'll be signing up with the fastest sportsbook, and it's easier than ever, so start living your bet life in seconds. What are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
They gamble in London? Like, is it like a popular thing?
Yeah.
It's definitely growing here. Like, it used to be like frowned upon in a big way.
It was
but-
illegal.
Was it
a lot of
illegal?
places,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, people still did it. And
Right, yeah.
I just know about, is it Reno? This is really obscure.
Reno,
now,
yeah.
So I'm really going off, but because it was just over the border, that was why it existed, because it was illegal somewhere and it was legal there. I don't know.
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, people, a long time. You've always been able to in England. People do it a lot.
But
Nice.
the online betting now, like
yeah, all
phones,
online, phones,
My
live.
kind of country.
All that kind of stuff.
There you go.
we're always behind.
All that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh hey, Naked Guy's out here. Rachel's first ever viewing of Naked Guy on the.
There
on
it
the
is.
balcony.
And when he sits down, he's not naked. He's wearing
he's
black
not-
Yeah,
shorts.
he's obviously wearing black
Yeah.
shorts. He's
But
obviously
when
wearing
he
black
sits
shorts.
down now in his folding chair,
It looks
the
pretty.
black
naked.
shorts blend in with the seat,
Yeah.
and it looks like there's just a naked guy sitting out on the
I
deck.
get a sit down. We're getting a sit down.
Always has, yeah, here he goes.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna have a
Is
heater.
I was
he's gonna
gonna
light
say,
up his
has he got
heater
a
right
few
after
heaters?
that.
He always has a heater.
Oh, he just put it in his mouth.
Marble Light.
There you go. I don't know. But yeah,
We should yell out the door. What are you smoking, Marble Light?
We talk about you every day.
We see you at least 3 times during
Those
our
Virginia
show every day.
Slims?
Oh, gosh.
Unfiltered? Filtered?
I don't know. I hope
Anyways.
unfiltered. Or I hope filtered. Sorry.
Should we do who you got?
Yeah.
Because this
Yeah.
is so, like I said, internationally debated this time around. Who won?
Yeah.
Who you got? Joey, do you have the list of who took who? You don't have it. All right. So here's what my original.
Here we go.
I
Cody,
wrote it
who did you
down.
take?
I took Hap,
And
and then Rachel took Fran Mill, and Ryan took Madrigal, and you took Nico.
Well, he took like
Well,
6 different
now
people.
wait. Now here's where the debate starts to come in.
There's no debate.
First of all, while I was on vacation, you guys stole a win because I had Marcus Stroman, and he went 4+ innings, scoreless, no earned runs, and yet I was not given a point.
Why would you have gotten a
holiday.
point?
How can he do better than not giving up a run?
He gave up 4 runs. Just none of them were earned.
No earned runs.
Or was it 3 runs maybe? Because you weren't even here. You weren't here to claim your victory.
That day, between me, Ryan, and Corey, we had Reyes, Madrigal, and Nico. And I'm pretty sure 2 of those 3 all did better than what Stroman did.
At least.
At least.
We'll look it up.
You guys be
remember.
haters.
I have to go back.
But Luke wants to also switch to McKinstry after McKinstry.
My first pick today was McKinstry, and then I said, maybe I'll go Nico.
Well, the
And
chat
then
says that McKinstry
Ryan said
stinks.
you can have both of them because they're 0-4. And what he didn't know was
True.
Joel knows.
And Joel knows.
old people always trying to finesse. No. What happened
That's the
was
best
Ryan said,
comment.
you know what? You can have both guys because they're 0-for-8. And then what happened was McKinstry made the throw home and saved the game
No,
the first time. And
Yeah,
then the
what
game was saved by Nico Horner catching the ball at second base at the end of the game.
But that was only necessary
So
because
my guy
McKinstry's
saved-
there.
Cool.
My guy saved the game twice.
That was only necessary because of McKinstry's throwing error. And I said you could have both after McKinstry had already made the out at home.
Yeah.
Either way,
Joel
you're
calling me
out.
old man. Take the L.
Joel is going in.
Joel has now increased his ranking in terms of my list of favorite people in the chat.
Joel is clearly not respecting his elders, much like the Sox fan who ran out on the field.
Okay, so
guaranteed rate.
I'm going to say Stucky's out. I'm out. Now it comes down to you two.
I think it's Rachel.
think it's-
Her guy got 2 hits.
Two
Hap had
hits.
1 hit.
Extended his
The
hitting
He had a
tiebreaker
nice
is
catch. I'll give him that. He did
distance
have a
traveled.
nice catch. But
distance
The
travel.
tiebreaker is
Yeah.
distance traveled.
I'd probably go with
I
exit
al-
velocities up there as well.
I also just want to put in the spreadsheet that Rachel is tied with Kevin and Corey, and then we can laugh about it for the rest
That's
of the season.
funny. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I had a Jared.
For that
Yeah.
reason,
Wait, no,
Wait,
Jared.
and
No,
it had
Jared does
Jared.
have a point.
For that-
That was the day we gave all 3 of us points.
what about Joey? Has he won with Hayward
Joe-
yet? Almost.
Almost. You got robbed? I don't know
disagree.
about that. Has he played? Has he
See Nick
played
G?
since you
Yeah, see.
started picking him? In a game? Oh, I'm here. I can hear you. I feel like you're loud enough that people listening could probably hear you. Anyway,
I love Nick G's comment. Nick G's comment says, Joel value, stock up.
Joel Valley stock.
That's when you know this,
David
this chat
nickname
loves us.
McKinstry VR Jr.
Oh, goodness.
Franmil
Franimal
Oh,
is
my
going to
God.
be a stud
Yeah.
for us at DH
So,
next year.
Are you in
30
on
plus
Fran
dogs.
Mill? Like, I missed a lot of his good games
He's being
being up north. Are you in on Fran Mill being a piece of this team next year?
I mean, listen, when he got brought over, we didn't really get that excited about it because he hadn't been great, but I like that
Yeah.
he's hitting the ball to all fields, and, man, they really could use his power this year.
Yeah.
So
That's what it is,
I
power.
like him, you know, if he plays like this the rest of the year, then, yeah, got a couple more years of arbitration. Why not?
Just stick him at DH?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and,
No,
and,
I
it, and
don't-
it makes it tough because, you know, with Willson and all that, it does make it a little weird and, like, how we're going to figure that out. But you can't, like, he's going to be so cheap. Like, you might as well roll with it. So,
Yeah.
that's how I
Well,
feel.
Yeah, I think we all kind of, I mean, I guess rational people looked at it when they first got him and were like, okay, this makes total sense. Like, it's a guy who has a ton of power, has hit really well in the past, who isn't expensive, and who, if things don't work out, can be non-tendered this season. Like, what is the point? Like, why not risk it? Like, what's the point of not doing that?
Very low
kind of
risk,
move, right? So I think, I think
trying not to get too ahead of myself with it.
No.
Kind of like the whole, we've had the conversation about Christopher Morel when he first came up and lit the world on fire. Not trying to love to see, like, if he can do it for the rest of the year, then yeah, I'd like him back here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a reason Rachel picked Franmil as her who you got, right?
Hit every game so far. We have a couple guys who get on base, and you got a guy who can hit it out of the park.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you want.
Are you going to try and vote from Wrigley Field for who you got tomorrow? Question.
I can try. You're going to listen to me, though.
Yeah.
It's going to make up
Just got to find a way. You got to find a way to get the vote in. If you tweet it, maybe we'll let it count.
I'll tweet it.
We'll see.
I'll put it out.
We'll see.
So Keegan is tomorrow, right? Bounce back game. The game I missed was not good.
Not great, Bob.
Inning and 2/3, 70 pitches to get 5 guys out. What was wrong that I missed in that game, and what does he need to fix for
From my
tomorrow?
memory, he got the first
Friday?
2 guys out really fast, like less than 10 pitches to get the first 2 guys
great.
out.
And
Yeah.
then-
And then the rain, it started to rain, and then he had a bunch of high counts. From my memory, that's what happened. Obviously, he only got 5 guys out or whatever it was, and just a lot of high counts. And after he got out of it in the first, I thought maybe he'd be able to settle in because the rain stopped, and then he didn't. And, and now some people are starting to doubt him, and I think that's a dumb idea. So
Yeah,
bounce
crazy.
back day tomorrow for who I think should be doing Lori Lightfoot's job. Thank you.
He was getting a lot of guys on 2 strikes.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
He couldn't finish them off.
couldn't finish.
Couldn't finish
A lot of foul balls.
He's never
Well, 'cause
pitched
there was
this
that
much.
one-
Never
Yeah.
thrown this
Yeah.
many innings in his life. So
And there was that one, because didn't Joey Votto have like a 14, 15 pitch at bat? And then like
Yeah.
2 batters
lot,
later,
yeah.
someone had a long at bat against him.
Just a
like,
lot of long at bats.
Yeah. And against a guy like Joey Votto too, it's like it's tough to put him away.
So right.
Like he's historically a really good hitter, like especially against the Cubs.
that's why I'd like to see Sampson stick around. Like every once in a while, here the last month and a half or whatever, I would like to see Thompson get an extra day or 2. That's why the 6 man doesn't bother me. Like I know you
Yeah.
got to get some other guys in there to get them up to show, but like I don't think it'd be the worst thing if you skip Steele a start or if you skip Thompson for a start or just pushed him back like 3 or 4 days. Give him some extra time. Like I know you need to build that up, and that's something that a hurdle they can get over, but I don't want them to be overused this year either in a meaningless season.
Yeah, no, and again, like that, I think that's another thing they're looking at. Maybe they just keep Sampson around as a guy who can go into that long, multi-inning weapon, kind of like
Right.
what Keegan was early in the season. Go Keegan for 5, 6, and Sampson comes out for the last 3, 4, whatever it is. Like that. I mean, that's a role I could see Sampson in, and I could see Sampson doing well in too. I mean, it just kind of. I guess we'll see. We kind of have to make sure Wade Miley ends the rehab assignment and comes back up and actually pitches, but kind of just see what Ross ends up doing with. I think just the way Megan's tweet was, and the way he talked to us in spring training too. I don't see a 6-man rotation, but things change.
I just think it's one of those, I didn't take too much into Thompson's last start. I looked at it kind of like how I looked at that start against the Orioles and the Yankees, where basically the same thing happened. A lot of pitches, didn't even get out of the second inning in those starts either. He's had some up and downs, no doubt, but he's also had stretches where he's been really good. To me, it's just bounce back day tomorrow, man. And if he struggles again tomorrow, then maybe I'll change my mind. But I don't know.
He's figuring it out. I really do think it really looked like the rain just threw him off.
Yeah,
And
perhaps.
which is something he needs to manage. Because
Right.
he can't
Yeah,
have,
that can't be an
a
excuse.
thing. Yeah.
Right. But I also think what Luke said with never pitched this many innings
Yeah.
before, and
Just keep an eye on it.
yeah. So we'll see. He's been way better than anyone expected all season. That guy's got a role in this team doing something next year.
Yeah, definitely.
So-
For sure. So if you're watching this podcast live on YouTube, we're going to wrap things up because a live Bears pregame podcast is coming on. Cubs win 3-2. The big story of the day is that UK Rachel was here. First ever podcast here. Now she's going to go to her first ever Cubs game at Wrigley Field. Thanks so much for coming in.
It was
pretty cool to stop by.
Amazing.
On Twitter at Cub Rachel.
Yeah, that's me. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Joe.
UK Cubs fans? Is that at UK Cubs fans?
It is at. Give me
We'll
a
find
sec.
it. I was gonna say also, you know, everyone's Cubs here, but her NFL team is the Seahawks.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's Bears
So,
Seahawks
a lot to watch.
preseason game.
Yeah.
Bears Seahawks going head to head right after we get off these chairs.
Without Russell Wilson, though.
Now she's
might be a Bears
she's
fan
the
soon.
second
No Drew
biggest
Lock
Drew
either.
Lock fan in the building now.
I love him.
Ryan
Yeah, I
being
was
the
gonna say
number one
second
fan.
biggest Drew Lock.
Second
Might
biggest.
be a
my guy.
Broncos fan now. Oh, dare I say, Seahawks fan to a Broncos fan.
No, never.
All right, thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs Postgame Show podcast. We appreciate it. Use that promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Thanks to Rachel, Cody, Ryan. I'm Steve. We'll see you next time.